So, what is your name?
Ah, well, my name is Carol Fulton, and I am the grand aunt of Hayden Grove. Jump is it's a nonprofit, interactive, creative space for people in our community to come together and try something new. It actually is an acronym for Jack's Urban Meeting Place, which just happens to turn into Jump. And it was started by the family first wanting to put in a tractor museum because J.R. Simplot, who was the father and the founder of the family, had a tractor collection that he purchased of some 52 plus tractors that are ancient tractors. So rather than having a museum, the family finally decided, it'd be better to have some kind of center where people could be interactive with things and it would bring the community together. So it's located in downtown Boise at Myrtle and 11th, and it is a startling, beautiful building. If you see it, it looks different than anything downtown. Well, I'm actually a volunteer. I'm part of a team that they call Double Trouble, and we work on arts and crafts that they need done. We've done paper flowers for all the vases that are around the building, and those are large paper flowers, about the size of umbrellas, that decorate the different spaces in the building. We've also made 900 little tiny flowers that are in small vases that you'll see throughout the building that are centerpieces and things like that. We've made paper hats, we've made frogs, we've done all sorts of different kinds of paper activities. We even taught a class on how to make one of our paper flowers. So we do most anything they need done to decorate or change things up there. One of the things they like to do is change everything around all the time. So we're always looking for new ideas. Right now we're working on a project for a luminary festival that will happen in March of 2018. So we're exploring all kinds of different ways that we can light up Boise. Well, Jump's mission statement has to do with that creativity and finding your creativity and expressing it. If you walk in the front door, Jump on the ground, in the sidewalk is a thing that says, when was the last time you did something for the very first time? So it's encouraging to people, for all people, to try out something new. If you don't, if you've never had a class in woodworking and you've always wanted to run that big saw, they have that. And you can take that class in a safe environment where you're coached along with where you need it and get some help from experts that run the different studios that are there. So it's really that. It's a nonprofit, so they do tend to like to draw in a lot of nonprofit activities or banquets that might be going on where nonprofits are working at raising things. They have classes going on all the time. We have brochures that they produce. There's a calendar. There's a place to go online and see what's there. It's called Boise, jumpboise.org. So there's all the classes and everything listed. It's meant for every age range. Small children come there because they have this one beautiful program where they read them a fairy tale or a story, and then they move into the kitchen area, which is the share studio, and they have them make something that has to do with that story, such as the story about raining meatballs or stone soup. They've made stone soup. And that's a story where it starts with a stone and everybody adds something to it. So they do these kinds of things. They have culinary classes for children at an academy. They have classes for all ages. And the ages are mixed in some of the classes. They have a young toddlers dance program, but they also have dance programs for any age. You can take hip hop if you're 80 years old. And you can take let me see, what's some of the other ones? Any of the video studio things are open for all ages. So they mix them up pretty good, yes. Myself and my partner who do the volunteering are in our 70s. And there are a lot of people there who are in retired and doing volunteer work. Well, physically, it's been an enormous change to the downtown. Originally, where it sits used to be some old warehouses. And then those warehouses were torn down, and then they started construction on this project. And as they started digging, they started finding all kinds of things. So this hole in the ground started growing and growing. So they ended up with a big hole to start with. And then the building started coming up out of the ground. And if you look at its architecture, you can see how some of the inner structures of it, the infrastructure of the building was coming up. And people started looking at it as it was being formed, and some people went, "Oh, I just don't like this. You know, it looks like a bunch of boxes." But it looks nothing like a bunch of boxes. Other pieces of downtown city look like box buildings. This one has all different curving shapes, and it sets a whole brand new tone for downtown. It's very modern. The views are out of every single window are spectacular of Boise. You get 360 degrees of views if you walk around any of the floors and look out the windows. So the physical impact of it is enormous on our downtown. It's brought a whole bunch of new life to the area. And also, I think it sets a tone that different is okay. It's good. Being creative is good. Taking a risk and building a building that looks so different is just a great thing. And that's what it's about, yeah. How has it changed me? It's wonderful to be someone my age who's, finished up her career, has retired and start to volunteer and find this whole wonderful thing that's going on in a city you love, and just to be a small part of it. Just that small part of something that's going to be really spectacular. The people who are at Jump and employed at Jump are the friendliest, nicest group of people, and you feel like family. They know you, they greet you, they hug you, that type of thing. So it's been wonderful. And I've always, once I saw it coming out of the ground, I said, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of what's going on there. And it's spectacular. Well, they change classes out quarterly. So they come out with a new catalog all the time. And the way they build those classes is around each of the studios that they have. Now, the studios start out on the lobby level with one that's called the Share Studio. And it's a kitchen area. It's a professional teaching kitchen where they have the television and the cameras and everything that show you what they're demonstrating. They set up and they do different kitchen things there. They've done different types of food, different ethnic group foods. I know that they're going to do a Japanese soul food is what's coming up. They've done them on Peru. Of course, they've done the children's thing, which I talked about earlier, the Academy. And I know last Thanksgiving they did a cooking class where the kids prepared their actual Thanksgiving dinner, but it was not a turkey, but a game hen, a small little game hen. And that's the Share Studio, and that's always changing out what's available there as far as the cooking classes. I know they did do knife skills also there. Then as you go upstairs, there's another studio would be the Inspire Studio, and that tends to be more where they're giving more classes where they're more instruction. I know they were doing one on finding your element, such as are you air, wind, or fire type of thing, and that was going on in that studio. So they tend to be a little more, not academic, but a little more of a quiet, sitting, learning situation in there. And it's built for that. The views out of it are tremendous because it's got 3 classes of walls of glass, rather. Let's see, then we can go into the Play Studio. And that's a big one that is for film and video making editing. I know they do some Photoshop editing classes that they teach there. They teach actual video making. They have a green wall so they can do production of TV shows. They have some fantastic equipment there. I know they have one of the Blackmagic cameras, which is a very rare and expensive sort of camera for a community, but they do have it there for people to use. And they have several staff members there that are professionals. They have several volunteers who are professionals. I know they have one fellow who's there who had quite a reputation in Hollywood, and he's an older fellow too. Then the other one that I haven't mentioned is the Move Studio. And the Move Studio is the dance studio. And in that dance studio, they offer classes all the time on different types of dance. They have a one coming up that is modern dance. They also do hip hop. They've done ballet in there. They've done ballroom dancing. They've done large yoga classes in that room. And it also has 3 walls of glass. And so the area there is just gorgeous. And of course it's built with the floor, the dance floor, and the ballet bars and all of that. Another studio, and one of the ones that I tend to really like, and Double Trouble and I work in there all the time, is called the Make Studio. And that is where you can go in and do woodworking. You can learn how to run a shop bot. One of the things they're making is cribbage boards in the shape of Idaho. They've made lending libraries, the little libraries that you see in neighborhoods, with the little boxes with the books inside for people to take a book and give a book. They're built there. They have classes on that. They're also doing soap making classes, which really is kind of fun for people, for gifts, like around the Christmas time, and I see they're going to do that again. There's engineering that goes on there. They do lots of robotic things for little kids. They've done bicycle making kits there where dads and the kids come in, and they have a kit that they actually built these really cool little not tricycles, but bicycles. And the kid, each kid left with a product, had a bicycle. We've talked about maybe doing a dollhouse building class for groups or for parents to come in and do with their kids. I know that they have a class coming up for women that's going to be woodworking for women. Oftentimes, women don't get the shop classes. They look in there and they always say, I want to learn how to do that. So that's in there, and there's also a spray booth for spray painting. There's a metal cutter, and there is a laser printer that is programmed for cutting out patterns and things like that. And some of the other things that are going to go on, I know they're going to be doing some jewelry making in there, and they are also hoping to do, they make cutting boards and birdhouses and fairy houses. So lots of things are going on in that particular studio. So I think I've covered all the studios. And there's always lots of open events. I know the big one that's coming up is the Day of the Dead. And that's going to be the first Thursday for November. They're having that first Thursday be the first Thursday of the Dead. And they'll have displays there from the Hispanic communities with their altars that they build for honoring their ancestors who've passed. And they'll have dancing, cultural events, and I know they do some things with the Mexican consulate to set that up. Also in the lobby area downstairs, they have regular ongoing conversational Spanish classes. So they sit around the fireplace that's downstairs and they talk in Spanish and keep their Spanish up for people who know how or people who are learning how. Just come in and do that. So there's all kinds of things going on there all the time and changing up regularly. So every 3-4 months you can have a whole new selection of classes. and that's jump. And jump is kind of in itself, the word itself, even though it's Jack's Urban Meeting Place, meant to be that, the name works out that it really describes what you do when you go there. Jump. Take time, take a risk, do something you've never done before, do something for the very first time, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid that, oh, I can't do that, or maybe I'd look silly. It's okay. And jump is okay with people trying new things. You can hang out at Jump. You can go down there. The lobby is open. It is open in the evenings sometimes, and it is open on Saturdays. You can go down and you can sit around that fireplace down there. It has free Wi-Fi, so if you need a quiet little place to go in and just hang out and have Wi-Fi, it's right there, and you'll have the fireplace. Nice on a day like today. Also, we see kids come in there from the Boise High School and finish up their afternoon homework. And a lot of times the catering service, which is run upstairs in the big professional kitchen, will set out hot chocolate, coffee, and cookies for people. Just for public people. That's kind of a really nice social thing. So you can get involved at that level. If you want to be involved at a volunteer level, you can contact Jump itself and ask for the volunteer coordinator, who happens to be Allie, and she is also officially called the happiness coordinator, and that's her job. She does a lot of things to make people's days extra special. So at that level you can get involved. So there's lots of ways to be involved.
If you could sum up Jump into one word, what would it be?
The word jump itself is an acronym for Jack's Urban Meeting Place, but it's also a part of what that place is about. Take a risk, jump off of what is stable, and do something new. It's really an exciting, beautiful place, and it's going to bring some different changes to Boise, some things that I hope, inspire creativity and inspire people to find their passions. So maybe passion would be the word. Or jump.